Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Dr. Alan Mandell with Healthy Aging America. And let me ask you something. When you wake up in the morning, do your hips feel stiff, tight, maybe even a little painful before you've even taken your first step? Do you find yourself rolling to the edge of the bed, bracing yourself, and slowly, carefully pushing up because your hips just don't want to cooperate? If that sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone. I hear this from patients all the time, men and women in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, who tell me the first 10 minutes of their day are the hardest. Not because of anything serious, but simply because their hips have been still for 7 or 8 hours. And now they're asking those joints to wake up and work immediately. Here's the good news. Today, I'm going to show you 5 simple exercises, and I mean simple, that you can do right in your bed before you even sit up. No equipment, no gym, no getting on the floor. Just you, your mattress, and about 5 to 10 minutes. These movements are designed specifically to gently wake up your hip joints, get the blood flowing, and reduce that morning stiffness that so many of you write to me about. I've been helping people improve their mobility and reduce pain for years now, and one thing I always tell my patients is this: the way you start your morning sets the tone for how your whole day feels in your body. If you go from lying flat to standing straight up in 5 seconds, you're asking stiff, cold joints to do a lot of work all at once. That's often when people feel that sharp twinge or that wobbly, off-balance feeling. So stick with me through this video. By the end, you'll have a complete morning routine you can start tomorrow. And if you find this helpful, please consider subscribing to the channel. We put out new videos every week to help you move better and stay independent longer. Now let's talk for a moment about why this happens, because understanding the why really helps the exercises make more sense. As we get older, a few things naturally happen to our hip joints. First, the cartilage that cushions the joint can wear down over time, and the synovial fluid, which is like the natural oil that keeps the joint moving smoothly, doesn't circulate as well, especially after long periods of being still, like sleeping. That's why the hip feels rusty first thing in the morning. Second, many of us lose strength in the muscles that support the hip, particularly the glutes or buttock muscles and the deep core muscles. When those muscles weaken, the hip joint has to absorb more stress on its own, which can lead to more stiffness and discomfort over time. And third, simply put, many of us move less than we used to. Less walking, less standing, more sitting. And joints, just like the rest of the body, thrive on movement. When they don't get it, they tighten up. Now here's why this matters beyond just comfort. Stiff hips don't just hurt, they can actually change the way you walk. You might start taking shorter steps, shifting your weight differently, or favoring one side. Over time, this increases your risk of losing balance and falling, which, as you probably know, is one of the biggest health concerns for adults over 60. That's exactly why doing these movements in bed, before you even stand, is so valuable. You're warming up the joint gradually, increasing blood flow, and giving your hips a chance to wake up before you ask them to bear your full body weight. This can reduce that dizzy or unsteady feeling some people get when they stand up too quickly, and it can significantly cut down on that first step stiffness and pain. One quick but important note before we dive in: if you have a recent hip replacement, an acute injury, or any condition your doctor has specifically advised caution with, please check with them before trying these. For the vast majority of you dealing with general age-related stiffness, These movements are very gentle and safe, but your safety always comes first. All right, let's get into the exercises. The first exercise is the knee to chest stretch, and this is a wonderful way to start because it gently stretches the muscles of your lower back and the back of your hip, specifically the glutes, which often get tight overnight. Here's how to do it. Lie flat on your back. You can keep a pillow under your head if that's more comfortable. Now, slowly bring one knee up toward your chest, using both hands to gently hold just below the kneecap or behind the thigh. Keep your other leg either flat on the bed or bent with the foot planted, whichever feels better on your lower back. Pull the knee gently toward your chest until you feel a comfortable stretch, and I want to emphasize comfortable, not painful, in your lower back and hip. Hold that position for about 15 to 20 seconds, breathing slowly and deeply. Then gently release and lower the leg back down. Repeat this with the other leg. Do this 2 to 3 times per side. A common mistake I see is people yanking the knee up too quickly or pulling too hard, trying to force a deeper stretch. Don't do that. This should feel like a gentle, releasing sensation, never sharp or pinching. If you're new to this, start with a smaller stretch and gradually increase how far you bring the knee in over the coming days. Exercise 2, hip marching. Next up is hip marching, sometimes called supine marching, and this one is fantastic for activating the muscles that lift your leg, your hip flexors, and getting circulation moving through the entire hip and leg. Stay lying on your back, knees bent, feet flat on the bed about hip width apart. Now, slowly lift one foot a few inches off the bed, as if you're marching in place, bringing the knee up slightly toward your chest. Then, lower it back down with control and lift the other foot. Continue alternating like a slow, controlled marching motion. Aim for about 10 to 15 repetitions per leg, moving at a pace that feels controlled, not rushed. The key here is control, not speed. A common error is swinging the leg up quickly using momentum instead of using your own muscles to lift it slowly. Going slow is actually what activates those hip flexor muscles properly and gets the blood really flowing into the joint. Exercise 3, Figure 4 stretch. The third exercise is one of my favorites for hip and lower back relief, the Figure 4 stretch. This targets a muscle called the piriformis, which sits deep in your buttock and, when tight, can actually cause pain that radiates down into the leg, sometimes mistaken for sciatica. Lying on your back with both knees bent and feet flat, cross one ankle over the opposite knee, so your legs form a shape like the number 4. Now, reach both hands around to hold the back of the thigh of the leg that's still planted on the bed, and gently pull that leg toward your chest. You'll feel a stretch deep in the buttock of the crossed leg. Hold for 15 to 20 seconds, breathing steadily, then switch sides. A tip for beginners: if reaching behind the thigh is difficult, you can use a small towel looped around the thigh to help pull it toward you without straining your shoulders or back. And remember, the stretch should be felt in the buttock area, not in the knee. If you feel any pulling or discomfort in the crossed knee, ease off slightly. Exercise 4, Bridge Lift. Exercise number 4 is the bridge lift, and this one is all about strength. While the previous stretches loosen up the hip, this movement strengthens the glute muscles, which are essential for stabilizing your hips and protecting your lower back. Lie on your back, knees bent, feet flat on the bed, hip width apart, arms resting at your sides. Slowly press through your feet and lift your hips up off the bed, squeezing your buttocks as you rise. Lift only as high as is comfortable. You don't need to go very high to get the benefit. Hold for 2 to 3 seconds at the top, then slowly lower back down with control. Repeat for 8 to 10 repetitions. A common mistake is using the lower back to do the lifting instead of the glutes. To avoid this, really focus on squeezing your buttock muscles as you lift rather than arching your back. If you feel this more in your lower back than your glutes, try lifting just a little less high and concentrate on that squeeze. Exercise 5. Lying hip abduction. The fifth and final exercise is lying hip abduction, which strengthens the muscles on the outside of your hip. These muscles are incredibly important for balance and for preventing that side-to-side wobble that can sometimes lead to falls. Roll onto your side, stacking your hips and shoulders, with your bottom arm supporting your head or resting under it for comfort. Keep both legs straight or slightly bent at the knee if that's more comfortable for your lower back. Now, slowly lift your top leg up toward the ceiling, keeping it straight, then lower it back down with control. Don't let the leg swing forward or backward. Keep the movement straight up and down. Do 10 to 12 lifts, then roll over to the other side and repeat. A frequent error here is rotating the hip or letting the leg drift forward as you lift, which takes the work away from the target muscle. Try to keep your hips stacked and your movements slow and controlled. Quality over quantity always wins here. Now that you know all 5 exercises, let's talk about how to put them together into one simple morning routine. I recommend doing them in this order. Start with the knee to chest stretch on both sides to gently loosen things up. Move into hip marching to get the blood flowing, then do the figure 4 stretch on both sides for that deeper hip release. Follow that with the bridge lift to activate and strengthen your glutes, and finish with lying hip abduction on both sides to round things out with balance supporting strength work. Altogether, this entire routine takes about 7 to 10 minutes, and the best part is, you never even have to leave your bed until you're done. I'd recommend doing this every single morning if you can, but if that's not realistic, aim for at least 4 to 5 mornings a week. Consistency really is what makes the difference here more than intensity. As you get more comfortable over the coming weeks, you can gradually increase your repetitions, hold your stretches a little longer, or add a small ankle weight to the bridge lift or hip abduction for extra strength benefit. But there's absolutely no rush. Let your body tell you when it's ready to progress. Before we wrap up, I want to spend a moment on safety, because this matters more than anything else in this video. There's a difference between a stretching sensation and pain. A stretch should feel like a gentle pulling or lengthening, something that actually feels kind of good, like a release. Pain, on the other hand, is sharp, stabbing, or radiates somewhere new, like down your leg or into your groin. If you ever feel sharp pain, sudden dizziness, or any new or unusual symptom while doing these movements, stop immediately. Don't push through it. And if any of these symptoms continue or concern you, please reach out to your doctor or physical therapist. They can assess your specific situation and make sure these exercises are appropriate for you. Remember, this video offers general guidance for common age-related hip stiffness. It is not a substitute for personalized medical advice. So there you have it. 5 simple, gentle exercises you can do right in your bed every single morning to help loosen up those stiff hips, improve your circulation, and build a little more strength and stability before you even start your day. Give this routine 2 to 4 weeks of consistent effort, and many of you will start to notice a real difference. Easier mornings, less stiffness, and more confidence in your steps. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, subscribe to Healthy Aging America. We post new videos every week covering everything from balance exercises to lower back relief to staying strong and independent as you age. Drop a comment below and let me know which of these 5 exercises felt the best for your hips. I read every comment and I love hearing from you. Until next time, take care of yourselves and keep moving. I'm Dr. Alan Mandell, and I'll see you in the next video.